Chapter 20. In no time flat, we all agreed on the terms of the Great Turtle Island flag race. So that's it, said Catherine, summing up. The first team to get to the top of the big hill, Mount Mysterious, Pete put in, Mount Mysterious, and get the flag that the boys put up there this morning, the one with the picture of two turtles on it, said Pete. Snowball and Poopsie, I added helpfully. With Snowball and Poopsie on it, Catherine went on and bring it back up here to this living room, are the winners and undisputed all-time champions of the Turtle Island, finished Cornelius. Agreed, said Catherine crisply. And the losing team, said Jill, looking at me with a sparkle in her blue eyes, has to cook 3 meals a day for 2 whole days for the winning team. And wash all the dishes, too, added Sunny. Agreed, said Cornelius. I like my eggs scrambled, I told Jill. And please, said Pete, no runny eggs. Runny eggs disgust me. Jill and Sunny began jogging in place. Did you know, Jill asked me sweetly, that Sunny is on the track team at our school? Her coach says he hasn't seen a girl with such long legs and such a smooth stride in years. He says she runs like a gazelle. I watched Sunny jog in place for a few seconds, and then I gave a sort of snort as if to say, "Ha! You think we're scared of her?" Then I swallowed hard. Oh no, I thought to myself, she looks like she can outrun a car. Let's see now, said Cornelius. What about the rules? I mean, shouldn't we decide what's fair, what's not fair? Rules, schmules, interrupted Catherine. With a wave of her hand, who needs rules? It's simple enough. Whichever team gets back up here to the room with the flag is the winner. Until then, anything goes. Shortcuts, ambushes, anything. Ambushes? Said Cornelius. What about tackling? Said Pete. Sure, said Catherine, if you think you can catch us. Now, if you'll excuse me for a few minutes, I think I'll limber up a bit. She put her feet wide apart, legs straight, and began energetically touching first her right toes, then her left. Right, left, right, left. Catherine jogs 6 miles a day, Jill informed us. Suddenly I had this vision of Catherine jogging up the side of Mount Kilimanjaro. She had a huge backpack on her back with a rolled-up tent, sleeping bag, and a couple of cast-iron frying pans tied to it. She wasn't even breathing hard. Boys, said Cornelius nonchalantly, I'm sure you'll agree. We have no need to limber up. So why don't we just step outside for a few minutes and plan our strategy? Right, said Pete and I together. We started out the door after Cornelius. Take your time, Jill called after us. You guys are going to need all the strategy you can get. Yeah, I thought to myself, and our own personal 100-mile-an-hour tailwind wouldn't hurt either. Cornelius, I said, I'm not sure I heard you right. Could you say that again? We crossed a suspension bridge to the 3rd tree for privacy, and were in sort of a huddle out on the rope-swinging platform, speaking in lowered voices. Surely, said Cornelius, I said that we might consider putting all the rope ladders out of commission. I blinked. I still don't. You see, explained Cornelius, all we have to do is pull up each of the 3 rope ladders, the ones that go from each tree down to the ground, and tie them in knots. And when the race begins, we could make our getaway using the rope swing and the super duper. Catherine and the girls would be stuck in the treehouse, at least until they managed to untie the rope ladders, which should take them 3 or 4 minutes, I should think. He looked back and forth between Pete and me with satisfaction. Well, that's it in a nutshell, he said. The 3 of us would be off for Mount Mysterious with a healthy head start under our belts and victory in the bag. What do you think? Terrific, said Pete. Let's go for it. But Cornelius, I said, are you sure it's, fair for us to tie up the rope ladders? I understand your concern, said Cornelius. Romo, get out of there. Sorry, he's in my roses. I understand your concern, said Cornelius, glancing back over his shoulder. Naturally, we wouldn't want to do anything that isn't absolutely fair and square, but fortunately, Catherine did specifically say rules schmules, and I think we are entitled to use that as our guideline. Don't you agree? Good point. Okay, let's go for it, I said. All right, said Cornelius. Now. Oh, now. Except for one thing, I said. How can we use the rope swing? None of us have ever been able to make it all the way across the inlet to the other platform. Don't worry, said Cornelius, brimming with confidence. I'll be the one using the rope swing, and this time I know I can make it. I'll just give my Tarzan yell and think about how good it's going to feel to be the all-time champions of Turtle Island. Believe me, it'll be easy as pie. You can do it, said Pete. Thank you, said Cornelius modestly. Let's Let's see then. Pete and I will go down the Super Duper together, right? In one trip. There won't be time for 2 trips. Right, said Cornelius. The rope's plenty strong enough and the handle's wide enough for both of you to hold on to. We'll leave 'em in our dust, said Pete. Now, said Cornelius, we better move fast and get those ladders tied up. I figure we have about 4 minutes before Catherine and the girls get suspicious. We split up and went for the rope ladders. Pete took the one just below us in the 3rd tree. Cornelius sneaked over to the one in the middle tree, and I quickly crossed through the middle tree to the 1st tree. The ladder hung down through a trapdoor in a platform about 15 feet off the ground. Working fast, I pulled the ladder up and made a loop in it, fed the bottom end of the ladder through the loop, and pulled it as tight as I could get it. Then I made another loop and I fed the ladder through it and pulled it tight again. I did that 5 times until I had used up all the ladder. That should slow him down all right, I thought. Quickly, I sneaked back across the bridge to the middle tree and joined Cornelius outside the living room. A moment later, Pete arrived. The 3 of us grinned at each other and gave the thumbs up sign. Then we went inside. Catherine and the girls were sitting on the floor with their legs out straight in front of them, holding their ankles and pressing their foreheads against their knees. Well, ladies, said Cornelius, are you ready for the big event? They jumped to their feet. Whenever you are, said Catherine, looking confident. Jill eyed us. You guys sure took long enough, she said. Yeah, said Sonny, you must have come up with a real whopper of a plan. Afraid not, said Cornelius, shaking his head. He tried to sound discouraged. Then he put his arms around Pete and my shoulders. But don't worry, boys, he said dramatically. We may not have a plan, but we'll give this race our best shot, won't we? We will, I said bravely. We'll never give up, declared Pete. Cornelius beamed at us proudly. That's the spirit, boys, he said. After all, it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game. And that's the end of chapter 20.